For this week's Terrain Tuesday, we're going to start work on another Plasticville building. In this case, this is the under construction home, but what I'm going to actually create it as is a ruined home. So this usually comes with some extra pieces to put on the roof and construction materials, but since you can find these incomplete kits pretty cheap, that's what I went with here. So we've got this top of the roof, so that looks pretty ruined. We can add some slats onto that, and then we have the four walls with the windows and doors all kind of having pieces of wood on them, so that kind of helps with the ruined approach as well. Looks like I got a window upside down in that one. And then this one also has some damage here where this part's broken away. So what we'll do is add some of our rubble there just to kind of make up the fact that those walls are destroyed. I have another one of my pre-cut bases. This one's a bit smaller than the last ones, but I'll still be able to have a pretty decent footprint. So what we want to look at is how we're going to line this up. Pretty much going to line it up with it towards the back to leave any frontage here available. Also, I need to go ahead and fix this window real quick, so it'll just pop out. And then put it in to match all the rest. Same with this one. They may or may not be accurate the way I'm putting them in. As long as they all match is the important part. Of course, I then go ahead and get them incorrectly put in as is. Alright, so there we go. And so everything now matches correctly. Let's see. I've only got one of these. So this door will wind up being built in. I think I must have gotten them all wrong then. Just looking at it. I bet it's supposed to go this way. Although that does really just kind of fall out at that point. Other way around, maybe? I'm guessing whatever's supposed to hold it in is a little loose. So that way actually works the best. It's wrong again though. So this is the way I had it. Interesting. And I haven't secured any of these pieces together yet, so that's part of it. Yeah, see, this is not the way. Yeah, I think that's good, and then I'll just secure it over. So, real quick, we're going to assemble these. Plasticville being designed to kind of collapse, as it were. Makes it easy to put back together. And so we're just popping these things like so. And I am using super glue to secure the actual model pieces, but we'll use hot glue as we have been using to attach it to the board. The different materials, that helps. And more. I actually have two of these buildings because I wanted two ruined houses, and then I have one that's not under construction. So we'll have a nice mix. Try not to ruin the connection with the others. So let's get that in. Then that. Okay, let that sit for just a little bit. And then for the top, I want the top to be removable, so we're not going to secure it overly well. We're not going to attach it to the actual house to fix this broken piece of frame. And so that'll make a very easy roof removal. And we want to have models going in and out of the building. So that's good. And then for this, we're just going to go ahead and glue it in. Go in this way. Now, with the hot glue, we're just going to apply this. Oop. I was going to say liberally, but that's even a little too liberally for me. Line that up to the back, and there we go. So, looking good. Alright, next we want our big bag of rubble. So again, all my ground up sprues. And we're just going to create a massive dolloping of hot glue here. And then real quick before it all dries, we're just going to start tossing in pieces of sprue and just trying to work these in. 4 hot glue gun is almost out of glue, so load a new stick. The other great thing about working with hot glue is it dries so fast. Alright. We want to keep all these bits real quick because we're going to apply even more. So we're just going to take the hot glue gun, and I want some in there, and definitely some more there. So we're going to toss that all there, kind of push it down. Get rid of all the hot glue wispy bits. Okay. So I think I want a bit more on the outside here. Definitely some more there. So again, just going to kind of take all of this. Okay. Don't need it riding up on there. Alright. So that helps hide the damage very nicely. And we can just sweep these leftover bits back into the bag. And then the next part of making this a true post-apocalyptic is, of course, we need to barricade ourselves in. So what I'm going to do is I have a bunch of these drink stirrers from my local coffee facility. So we're just going to go ahead and trim off the rounded tip, and then we're going to apply barricades on the windows and doors. And I think the easiest way to actually do this, yeah, the sills do have to be on the outside, so it'll kind of sit up with these V shapes. If I really wanted to, I could just remove the V shape. I can actually just remove the windows entirely, which may be a good option. Since I'm just gonna, the ones I'm gonna barricade anyway. If I can remember how I put them in the first place. Yeah, so of course, once you get them in, they don't want to come out. There we go, has to be flipped. So we're going to barricade a couple on each side, maybe. If we can get the bloody things out. There we go. Although actually, yeah, I do want to leave one window on this side. Normal. You want to make sure you're leaving firing ports, basically. this side we can do both because we're going to have this gaping doorway hole. Same here, we're going to have a door open. Oop. Or do we? Actually, we'll wind up barricading that door. So we'll leave this windowsill in. Alright, so what we want to look at is the size it'll take. And then we're just going to trim that off. Double check the size. Yep, that's good. Because then we're just going to base all of our planks on this one. And we're just going to show we're doing one window first, and then the rest I'll do off camera. And using the drink stirrers has the advantage of it having wood grain anyway. So when we paint these, it'll have a bit of realism to them. Whoop. Lose the stick. As it goes flying at me. Alright. So then all we have to do is just, and again I'm working with hot glue because I'm working with actual wood and plastic. I could use a super glue. That's a kind of a waste of super glue, honestly. But B, the wood can be absorption. It can absorb the super glue pretty easily. And so we're just going for something like that. Just like, you know, people really quickly barricaded themselves in kind of thing. Oops. Be careful with your hot glue gun. The door's a bit wider, so we'll do that separately. We'll just use up what we've trimmed. So I think I may have to make a coffee run and get more drink stirrers. Need to double check if I have any remaining. Bless you, kitty, for sneezing on camera. So yeah, and then we'll do that for all of the windows and the doors, and we'll be set to proceed to priming at that point. I may add some additional rubble piles inside, but or even just outside. But I think just having the one massive one works pretty well, and we will go from there. So we finished up the base itself. Like I said, I think that's enough rubble to cover up that crack. As you can see, I've gone ahead and barricaded some of this. I also took some corrugated plastic card I had and used that as a temporary barricade across one of the doors. But we've left enough that each side has a firing hole, which is what you want. For the roof, what we're going to do, and I have started, is take a bunch of the drink stirrers and just kind of slat them over. As well as I'll probably apply some various patchwork of the corrugated metal as well, just to make it look like the roof has been under repair. And so that will give us the look of a nice shanty building. So I'm going to finish up the work on the roof and then apply some primer. Alright, so as you can see, we're all nice and primed now. So what we're going to do is just paint the primary portion of the house. I'm going to do the exterior and interior a little differently, so interior is going to be mostly gray. Exterior, I actually found an interesting picture, which I used as the thumbnail for this video, of a house from the 50s with stucco and it had this kind of very pale green. So I'm starting with the pale green I have, and I'm actually going to mix that with probably in 2-to-1 ratio. We'll see how it comes out with white, just to kind of bring it even paler. And of course we will also be doing our brown wash over it, which I have so much of the GW gloss wash that I'm just going to go ahead and use that rather than mix up my other stuff. Simply put, I've got to get rid of it. And so the easiest way is just to use it. Let me just clear the tip of this. Alright, so it's about 6 drops. 1, 2, 3. And then the easiest way to mix this, we're going to add a little bit of thinner, just like a drop or two of this. Oop, it's way more than I needed to. It's a little runny. And then we're just going to take one of our brushes, mix it up in there. And then we're going to, in order to back mix it, so I'll cover this up and just kind of bubble that a little bit, and that helps cycle the mix. And then we're just going to very lightly, had a bit of flow improver to begin with, so there we go. I think I'm overpressured a bit too. Let's drop this down. If your paint is a little watery, you can just go ahead and reduce your pressure if you have an adjustable, which most compressors are. That way you're not forcing it out too bad. And there we go. We're not. Yeah, that's about where I wanted to be with it. Almost looks exactly like the picture. And since I did prime this white, I also don't have to worry about it being overly saturated. If I had primed it black, it would have been a bit more problematic. Alrighty, looking pretty good. Alright. Running out a bit, so we just gotta refill. 6. Maybe a little too much there. Okay. Again, a very small amount of thinner. And just mix this all up. Okay, let's see how close we are. Oh yeah, that doesn't look any different, so that's good. Alright, then if we want, we can just come back and even out some of this. Just by doing larger, broader strokes. Alright, so there we go. Nice little green stucco home. So we'll clean the airbrush and then do the gray for the interior. So as I said, we're going to do gray. So I've got this US gray that I'm going to do for the interior. I may also hit some other features, but mostly I'm just focused on that. Let's see. Make sure we got some flow going on. So it looks like this is a little thick, so let's add some thinner. Mix it up a bit again. should have helped blown that out. Yeah, see? Thinning them out helps so much. Okay, add some more. And we know we need to thin this now. And don't be afraid to over thin it. If it seems like it is too runny, you can always add more back in. If you under thin it, then you run the risk of clogging your nozzle, which can be a giant pain to then tear everything down. Now what did I... there we go. I was going to say, of course I managed to lose track of the brush I'm using to stir everything. Okay. Just backflow it a bit. Alright. There we go. Just a little bit to finish. And I'm not doing the texturing like I did with the previous models because we have a very small amount of outdoors. And since it's supposed to be more of a residence, my plan is to come up with like some burned grass or something like that. I may have a little walkway that I may wind up texturing a little, but we can do that after the fact. And we're just going to do that. So we can just kind of pre-make our paths. There's a little bit of pre-color on there to use it all up. Alright. So that's looking pretty good. I think I'll hit it with a little bit more. Kind of do a extra fine coat to kind of get rid of all the white splotches. So the other thing with if it's too thin, you will wind up using it quicker because it'll blow out a lot easier. So you just have to learn how thin you want and then how much pressure to make that thinness work for you. Okay. There's a little extra on the interior here. little on the top to still get on some of this. Okay, so that'll be it for our airbrush work. That's just kind of getting our initial done. Actually, hold on. Let's go ahead and do our yellow ochre outside real quick. Yeah, that'll just to kind of finish everything. So I'm going to clean the airbrush and we'll hit that real quick. Alright, so we've got our yellow ochre here. So we're just going to kind of hit the exterior a bit. Alright. Alright, so that's just a quick coloring there to get us ready for applying our washes, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and prep. My next plan is to color in these bricks on the edges, as well as the window sills that remain and the door frame that remains, and also do the wood paneling and the tin that we've used, corrugated, to get everything set up. So that'll all be brush work, and so I'll clean my airbrush and we will continue with that. So we are going to go ahead and start off with just doing the metallic. So we're going to use our gunmetal gray, and that is the whiniest cat you will ever hear in the background. So I'm just going to put that on and get started. Someone's not getting enough attention. That's her problem. Alright, so we're just going to be painting this on. Ugh, it's entirely too thick. I was like, I want it to go on thick, but there's thick, and then there's, holy crud, it's too thick. Metallics I generally apply a lot thicker than others, just because they're metallics, but yeah, that was bad. Yep, we're just getting that on. And as you can see, it goes on nice and easy. Cover up that green. That's why it don't matter about overspray on the initial coats there. Because anything I oversprayed, I'm going to just come back and fix anyway. It's the great thing about post-apocalyptic terrain, as I've said before. It don't have to be that pretty. Oi, get down! What did you... Sorry for that. My kitten's developed a habit of jumping up onto my 3D printer and eating the filament. Because it's a corn base, it's not going to affect her, it's just PLA. But it's still annoying. Yes, you. Oh my god, you're so pathetic. Here, come here. Behold, everyone, the most pathetic of kitties. Yes, truly this kitty is the most pathetic thing ever to exist. Oh, it is so pathetic and nobody loves it. So it must make loud whining noises to get attention. And now I will let it sit in my lap. Wrong brush. Some people may ask, well, why don't you just go ahead and close the door to your room while you're making recordings and stuff? Well, then I would deny everyone the opportunity to meet my kitty. Also, she would whine even louder. At least in this way, I can somewhat control the volume. Alright. And we just have to do the other side. Oh, she's also developed a habit of stealing models and running away from them. With them, so that's been quite annoying. Okay. And there we go. So, with that on, we can double check the front of it. Maybe apply a bit more metal. Alright, I'm gonna let that dry real quick. While it's drying, we will move on to the reds. And the red is just going to be our windowsills and the corner pieces of the house. Which this is actually the color scheme of the house I found the picture for. I saw it and was like, yes, that is a 1950s stucco house, and that is a brilliant color scheme. Alright, so for the windowsill, we're just doing the sill, we're not even gonna, well yeah, I guess we will do the edging of it as well. Suspicious noises in the background. Immediately check that the cat isn't messing with anything. All right. Let's just get this. the sides. Okay. And these edge bits. Now, yes, these are very bright, but we're going to be applying brown wash, which should help tone everything down. Besides, I like these bright retro colors on a lot of things. Okay. Alright, we have no door frame on here to match. So that's the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of these off camera. And also, before I do that real quick, let me go ahead and show how we're doing the wood. And then we'll finish all of it off camera. So for this, I am going to use my contrast gore gruntifer. I use this for pretty much all wood in my universe. That's right, this is the one with the horrible topper that never wants to stay up. Alright, so for these, we're just going to go in and just apply it over. Oop, way too much there. That's what you never want to do, is get your paint up onto the metal there, because that's how you ruin a brush. My brushes are pretty much already ruined though, so especially this one. I have new brushes on order. I have no clue when they're going to arrive. Decided to try out some fancy brushes. We will see. I've always been more of a get cheap because I constantly use them up type person. But we're going to get some fancy ones and see how that goes. Alright, so you can kind of definitely see what we're going for with the wood here. And we'll just apply the same on these beams. Just hit them from the inside a little as well. Alright, so that's what we're going for. So I'll apply the red and the wood to all of this, and as well as a little bit of metal on there. So actually, I'll hit that real quick. But yes, so we'll finish all of this up and be ready to apply our wash. Alright, so we're all done applying our primary color pieces. So you can see our wood and everything. Everything's very bright and almost shiny. I have applied some rust to the metal. It's not showing up too terribly much. So the next thing will be to go ahead and do some washing on this, but that will be for next week's video.